that is trying to war against your peace and your tranquility. Something that's attempting to keep you up at night. Something that's attempting to keep a frown on your face, to keep an attitude in your economy of living. Something that's trying to get you to be bitter and not better. Something that keeps trying to aggravate you and get on your nerves. Something that's trying to upset your equilibrium. If you can just cuss a little while. God, I wish I had some real people in here. If I could just take something and knock the fool out of some folks that need to know that I don't want to be bothered. If I could just extract some people out of my life. And sometimes it's your own family. Oh, y'all not gonna be with me. I'm gonna come to this thing here. But what has to happen with us is somehow God's got to impute something in you and cause you to be able to see a different side of life if there is going to be any hope for you to make it.
That's right.
I just come to understand that it's when you get a mind to win and when you get a mind to go further. It's you are unstoppable if you decide there is no stop sign that is in front of me. If you can just begin to process in your thinking and process in your living that somehow I'm going to get through this. This is not going to be the end. This is not going to be the big one. This is not going to be the overthrowing thing to me. It's not going to consume me. I'm not going to be defeated. If you can decide within yourself that somehow God is going to work this out. I just come to share with you that if we can come up to that level, that things are going to happen. And here is God speaking. The Babylonian destruction and has been placed in Isaiah's sight. But God is comforting even as he looks at something that seemingly is overwhelmingly negative. That's the time that if you can have a voice, or rather if you can have an ear to hear, that God is going to say something to you. It's not going to ever be that you approach something that is so overwhelming or something that is so potent that God is not going to prepare you that it's on its way. It's not going to catch you by surprise. It's not going to catch you with all things not in order unless you decide to go that way. But God's going to always preface you and he's going to prepare you. He's going to buttress you. He's going to undergird you. He's going to give you something that would cause you to be able to make it if your ear is close to his mouth. And so here he says to Isaiah that I want you first to understand your identity, because you will never understand God unless you understand you. That's the first order of business, to know who you are, to know whose you are, to know what's available to you. I've got to begin to know that God has deposited inside of me some ingredients that can help me in my time of need. He's going to prepare. He's going to give you some detail. He's going to give you some things that are going to be able to be at your reach. It's no good having a weapon you can't reach. It's no good having a weapon you don't know how to use. It's no good having a weapon that's unfamiliar with you. So he's going to give you to understand who you are. It goes on to say that you got to know, you got to be able to bring yourself in, to remember, to put some things in your mind that are going to be able to bless you, to remember where he brought you from. Often, if we can remember what he did, then we can remember what he's able to do. We get caught up because we lose memory, we lose track, we lose position because we don't keep a track of it. That's why you ought to keep a spiritual diary. Don't put that mess in there when you met John and all that stuff, no. But put something in there that will help you, because you remember when I was in trouble. I remember when I had some issues, when things seemed like they were going to kill me. But God was faithful enough to bring me out. When they wouldn't approve my application, when they told me I didn't qualify, when they told me to go home and I will call you, but how God God somehow or another put me at the front of the line. I was on my way back. I was on my way back from Washington, and they told me that I had to go standby, and my luggage got lost and all kind of crazy stuff. But then I opened up the atmosphere and said, God, I belong to you. And because I belong to you, this airport is not the same. There's been a shift. There's been a dimensional pivot because I stepped onto the tarmac and got into the airline, and I commanded that things come in order. Got up to the ticket booth and presented my ticket, and she said to me, sir, I don't believe that we can do this. But I said, it's not what you believe, but it's actually what's going to be done. And she looked at me like I had lost my mind. But I actually did lose my mind because I had the mind of Christ. And this thing was going to come to pass. I had to get back to Jersey. I wasn't trying to have no foolishness happen, and I wasn't going to waste no time. I had things to do. I got an agenda before me, and just in about a few seconds she was able to tell me, well, sir, we have 2 seats left. Well, that's good because I only need one. Give it to me. And was able to come. I'm trying to say something today, that you've got to have a mind to win. And an objection is no more than an opportunity for God to work it out in your behalf. But there was no need to get fearful. There was no need to get unreserved. There was no need to lose your peace. See, the reason why some of us lose is because we get upset too quick. Y'all hear what I'm saying? We got a hair trigger on our attitude. You know, all it takes is somebody not to do what I think they ought to do, and not to deal with what I think they ought to. And you know, we lose ourselves. You know, we get argumentative. We get bad attitudes. You know how we get. Some of y'all know. We then want to straighten it out. You know, but I'm trying to share with you that if you know who you are in Him, then God can straighten out whatever goes wrong. He's got enough power, and all He needs is for you to line up and get with Him. I didn't come to get upset. I didn't step in to get all messed up. I wasn't going to lose myself, but I had to command the atmosphere to come into order. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying today. Well, so he shares with him, Isaiah, let me tell you, I am the Lord, your Holy One, the Creator of Israel, your King. Not somebody else's king, but your king. Not in some other kingdom, but right here where you are. He begins to let him know that this is the thing that is before you. I make a way in the sea and a path in the mighty waters. I bring forth the chariot and the horse, the army and the power. They shall lie down together. They shall not rise. They are extinct. They are quenched as tow. Now, he shares with him, now I want you to now get a mindset, Isaiah. The mindset dictates like this. Remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. He shares that what I want you to do now is put your mind on some new issues. Because now if you get into a pathway where you deal with what you have come from and what you've come through, it may not necessarily bless you. The problem with many of us is that we are oftentimes entrenched in our former failures. We get wrapped up in our former problems. Remembering when I was 4 and they didn't take me to the circus, they took everybody else. When they left me home, I was crying. I was overwhelmed because I couldn't see the monkeys. I couldn't see the elephants, the lions. And I've had a complex ever since. It's been 13 years ago, but that sister stepped on my feet. And ever since then, I haven't been bothered with her because there's an evil spirit in her feet. Well, we get into all kinds of things. They didn't treat me right. They bullied me at school. They pulled my hair.